Good morning. It's Monday, April 20, and we're talking about Acts 12. Back in Acts 11, um, Antioch, Syrian Antioch, kind of became the hub of where Christianity was just starting. And they sent people up to Antioch from Jerusalem to see how things were going. Things were going really well. And also, there was a famine that was foretold by a guy named Agabus. And that's important because Agabus shows up later with another prophecy that he has, which is correct. So if we go to Acts 12, it says Peter's miraculous escape from prison. Third time Peter's been in prison already. And in this case, he's doomed. Because what had happened was the king Herod, the Herod at the time, had taken James, the brother of John, James and John, the sons of Zebedee, and had killed him, put him to the sword, probably beheaded him. And all the Jews were thinking, wow, this is great. You're so awesome, Herod. And Herod, much like many of the Roman rulers, they bowed to the will of the masses, the mob. And he saw that made everybody so happy. So he's like, oh man, well, now I'm real popular. Let me go get the top dog. Let me go find Peter, put him to the sword. So he arrests Peter, puts him in chains, surrounds him with 16 guys. Two of them are sleeping on each side of him. He's chained up. And angel comes in, tells him to get up. He thinks he's dreaming. Chains fall off, gets him past all the guards and out the big iron gate, which is probably the most impressive thing. And then he's sitting on the street, and all of a sudden he comes to his senses, like, whoa, I'm actually out. Then he goes to the house of Mary. Now this is another Mary, which is the mother of John Mark, who we'll learn about later. And they think maybe that's where the upper room was, actually, that maybe they met, but who knows. She must have been semi-wealthy because she had a servant. Her name was Rhoda. And Peter knocks on the door. Rhoda answers it, sees that it's Peter, and instead of actually opening it up, runs back to everybody and says, it's Peter, it's Peter, it's Peter. And they say, hey, lady, you're nuts. So they go back, and sure enough, it's Peter. And he, with his hands, he tells them to be quiet. Everybody, shh, shh, shh. And then he tells them all that had happened, that he got busted out. And then in the next morning, Herod finds out that Peter's gone. So there's another thing you have to know for the future. That is if you're a guard, if you're a soldier guarding someone who actually escapes, it is your life. You know that you have to be put to death. That caused quite the seriousness for any soldier to never let anybody go. But all these guys had to be put to death. It was just Roman law. Okay, Herod's death. Now, Herod, because of this famine, there are a couple towns that were always kind of at odds with Herod, Tyre and Sidon. And they're out towards the coast, and he goes out to Caesarea from Jerusalem, out near the coast, and he's going to appear in front of these representatives from Tyre and Sidon. And Tyre and Sidon are kind of kissing his backside a little bit right now because they're out of food. And they need to be buddies with Herod now, someone who they hadn't been, because they're desperate for food, and Herod could grant them that. And Herod stands up and he starts talking, and these people from Tyre and Sidon, just to really kiss up to him, said, this is the voice of a god, not a man, just totally stroking his ego. And since Herod has Jewish roots and should know better, doesn't say, hey, no, don't call me a god. I know I'm not a god. Maybe a ruler, but I'm not a god. Since he doesn't do that immediately, God strikes him down. It says, immediately because Herod did not give praise to God, an angel of the Lord struck him down, and he was eaten by worms and died. Okay? I don't know if it was all in that order. I think eaten by worms is a general phrase, but meaning you die, and before you can ever be embalmed, you rot, and worms eat you. But the word of God continued to increase and spread. When Barnabas and Saul had finished their mission, that means Barnabas had gone up to Tarsus to get Saul, brought him to Syrian Antioch, then they went around on some missions and talked to people. They returned from Jerusalem, taking with them John, also called Mark, which would be a cousin of Barnabas. Okay? 13 will start off with his actual first missionary journey, Paul's. Now, also today, for math, you got a test, and it's going to be on the useful documents section of the website. 15 or 16A and B. Science, you're working on your project. Hopefully you get your notebook finished today, all pulled together, and working on your science fair display board. And also make sure that you're checking the old classroom website for the schedule, because that's the clearest. It just doesn't come out across clear on Seesaw. I also sent you an email with that too. All right. Also, let me know if maybe you guys want to have just a Zoom meeting for fun tomorrow on Tuesday. All right. Catch you later.